Welcome to our series, Moving America Forward. Each week we'll be focusing on America's entrepreneurs as they take us to new roads, new opportunities, new ways to fill the gaps left by today's failing companies. Our series will be looking at that and a lot more. So come with me and watch as the entrepreneurs of our nation move into the future.
And I'm Doug Llewellyn here in our studios in Los Angeles with a guest I know you're going to be fascinated to hear about. His name is Raymond Lavine. He is a principal with a company known as Lavine Long-Term Care Insurance, and he's headquartered in Gig Harbor, Washington, which is just a matter of a few miles from Tacoma. Let's meet him now. On my left, Raymond Lavine. Raymond, welcome. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you for having me, Doug.
You're welcome indeed. Listen, I want to point out that a little while ago you had a chance to actually chat with, answer some questions from William Shatner. Let's take a quick look at just a brief portion of that and see how it went, okay?
Okay.
Take a look.
You are certainly in an interesting business, but take a moment to describe to me exactly what you do and who you do it for and how it helps move America forward.
Bill, thank you for having me on this program. Americans face a variety of financial obligations during their working years and have financial commitments headed into retirement. Most people's income is allocated towards their lifestyle, but not the consequences related to caregiving services, and often those obligations fall on a person's family. What I do is help with the why and how owning an extended care plan will help those who will one day need caregiving services, and that, Mr. Shatner, is how we are helping to move America forward.
Now that's really very interesting. You told Mr. Shatner you're helping clients literally all over the western United States with long-term care insurance. Some people may not understand what that really is. So do me a favor and define long-term care insurance for me. What is it?
Well, long-term care insurance is a benefit that takes care of people that live in either in their home or by choice or by circumstances need to be in a care facility. It provides money for their care services.
I think it's important to point out this is not like health insurance. It's totally different. It doesn't pay for doctors, you know, in a nursing home situation. Things like doesn't pay for medicine. It pays for nursing care, though, right? And a lot of myriad other expenses associated when someone is elderly and is sick and they need help.
It's when they're elderly, but it can also be for people who are also younger. Lots of things happen to people when they're younger. They fall off, you know, they get in accidents, they have illnesses. But as people get older, more things may happen to them, or they just may be frail and they need somebody to help them with their daily activities.
It's interesting because a lot of people really don't know that much about long-term care insurance, but you're very passionate about it. So tell me a little bit about why. What has created this passion within you for this kind of insurance?
Well, a lot of people like me that are in the business, we're passionate because a lot of us have experienced on a personal basis caregiving services. My father, 3 times in his life, needed caregiving services. You know, a lot of clients that I've spoken to have told me stories. I was almost as emotional as they were. We have many friends that have parents that they're taking care, and it's making a difference in their lives of how and in what way they're taking care of their parents. So,
you know, you use the term caregiving services. Give me an idea of what kind of situations we're talking about here that require care, and what are these caregiving services you're talking about?
There are a lot of things that people need help. Things you don't even think about, but things that you need help every day. It could be when you help if you need to get out of bed. Think of when you had a sprained ankle, or if you had a sprained back. Think about it if it went on for a continuous period of time. You would need somebody to help you, and it depends on what your health care issues are. It might be just somebody come in to help you cook meals. It might be somebody to do housekeeping, somebody to drive you to appointments. But it could also gradually progress, where you need more professional services, somebody to take care if you have cancer, or if you've had a stroke, or help you in rehabilitation if you have maybe early forms of dementia. So long-term care insurance will provide a lot of services that you don't think you need, but you want, and will help your life.
And what about your father? What situations do you recall where he needed to use long-term care insurance?
Well, he had three distinct times. One when he was in a head-on collision and broke his back. The second time was actually because of his broken back. He fell and he broke his hip and his arm, and he was not working for over a year. He was a lawyer and a judge, so I mean he had a responsible position, and
Right.
it was over a year out of his life. And then the third time after he retired, he had a heart attack, and took him 3 years before he passed away.
Now, did he utilize a nursing home? I mean, did he end up going out of the home for care, or did all this care came into the home?
My mother took great care of him for 3 years, but it was hard on her emotionally and physically.
See, that's the other thing a lot of people don't think about is not only is the situation hard on the person who's ill, it almost in some instances is harder on the people around them trying to take care of them. It really is a big problem, isn't it?
Precisely. People always think that it's those who need caregiving that have the issues. By the time somebody is through or has spent time doing caregiving on somebody that needs caregiving, many feel isolated, depressed. There are just a lot of things that happen to the caregivers that a lot of times they need caregiving because they're tired.
Why don't most people buy or acquire long-term care insurance?
Well, there are lots of reasons, but the top five are some people think that their children will take care of them. Many people think that if they need caregiving and especially if they need to go to a care facility, that their kids will pay for it. Another big misconception is that people think that Medicare, which is really health insurance, is going to pay for it. It won't. It will not pay for caregiving services. Another reason is that those who are veterans think that they're entitled to VA benefits, where they can go to a VA facility and get care facility. You may be eligible, but not necessarily entitled to it because you have to have means testing. And another reason that a lot of people don't want to get or don't think about getting long-term care insurance is that they think they can self-insure, which means that they're using the income for their lifestyle. They think that income will also pay for their caregiving services, which is a misconception.
And these caregiving services, if they go on for a long time, as you pointed out, your dad, was 3 years he was laid up. I mean, it can really be a huge drain on a family's budget. It gets very expensive after a while, can't it?
It can be expensive at home, and it can be expensive if you have to be in a care facility. But as I said, most people would rather be in their homes and with their family, with their friends,
Sure.
things they know, and also in their community. And a lot of times people think of long-term care, or as I call it, extended care, as you have to be miserable and unhappy. But my feeling is it actually does the opposite. It really gives you a chance to live your life as best you can. You just need some help.
So when is the best time to consider buying long-term care insurance? What's your advice?
The younger you can be, because these plans are medically underwritten, the younger you are, the better the opportunity based on your health to have an opportunity of a choice of a number of plans, and also the premiums will be a lot less.
So when you're talking about the younger you are, what's the typical age that most people should consider long-term care insurance? You wouldn't necessarily want to invest it if you're in your 20s or your 30s, would you? I mean, most people that age would not begin to think they'll ever need long-term care insurance.
Well, you're right, but actually there are some 30-year-olds that do, simply because they've been in a caregiving situation, or they know people, and it worries them. But most people start to think about it in their 40s. And then most people begin to really start to do something about it in their 50s and 60s.
Like 50, 55, somewhere around in there.
Yeah.
Is it hard to qualify for long-term care insurance?
It's not getting any easier, because the carriers are more careful about underwriting, so it's harder to get.
So what does one have to do to qualify? I guess you go through a battery of tests. The better health you're in, obviously, the easier it is to get, right?
Yes. Well, you don't have to go through a battery of tests. It's based on your medical records, and also there's a telephone or a face-to-face interview, and that tests you for your cognitive abilities. Okay. The carriers are careful.
I would imagine they are, and I have heard that some carriers are not even offering long-term care insurance anymore. So in this day and age, I guess the sooner you think about it and investigate it, the better for them. You are a broker. You sell and provide long-term care insurance from a variety of companies, right?
I'm a broker, and yes, I'm appointed with most of the top carriers, the best carriers that provide comprehensive plans for whatever needs people may have.
And you do this amazingly for a variety of states, primarily all in the western United States. I mean, from Washington all the way, Oregon down to California and Idaho and others. So anyone in the western U.S., you'd be an ideal source to get information on long-term care insurance. There's also one other thing. I understand you also offer, if someone can't afford or can't get into long-term care insurance, critical care coverage is another thing that's available, and also discounted home care services. Those are two other policies.
Yes, for those who cannot qualify for various reasons for regular extended care or long-term care insurance, there are other plans that are available to people that they can have some level of care, and it can, again, be in the home, or it can be in a care facility.
Well, you're actually fascinating to talk with, and anybody who's interested in this subject should talk to him. His name, again, is Raymond Lavine. He is fascinating, and get this, he has a mighty Wurlitzer organ in his home. Maybe he'll play the organ for you if you're lucky and get him on the phone. But anyway, Raymond, thank you so much for coming to tell us about it. Lavine Front Long-Term Care Insurance, headquartered in Gig Harbor, Washington. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Doug.
You're very, very welcome.
This organization represents companies across our great nation that embody the spirit, dedication, know-how, and can-do attitude which has made America the great nation that it is today. And now let's present the Keeping America Strong Award.
Now it's my honor to present this prestigious award to Raymond Lavine, the principal of Lavine Long-Term Care Insurance of Gig Harbor, Washington, for the outstanding work his company is doing to help keep America moving forward. Raymond, congratulations.
Thank you, Doug, for this award. I'm honored, and I appreciate being on this program.
More than welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's it for another edition of Moving America Forward. I'm Bert Tenzer. Join us again as we continue to bring you the entrepreneurs who move America forward.
I'm William Shatner, and for all of us at Moving America Forward, thanks for watching.